Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professionals IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professionals IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable knowledge seekers, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Aditya Vashak and I am from Bangladesh. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP IGP is a social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus professions and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professionals IGP is the training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professionals qualifications. The Institute of Global Professionals. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputable. We serve students and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation of generate proficient generation all over the world. We distribute our service locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seekers, job holders, and also for learners, their respective campus location. And distance learning platform, we are an occupational and dependable institution. IGP is one of the famous online institute from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product; it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminars, courses, awards, quiz competition, and mentoring, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to serve more than 100 premium service for free, like create own portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, and motivation letter, and world knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Kids learning games, website free courses, convert sites, and many, many more. We help to empower youth to learn to meet their expectations and dreams and become highly skilled people. We implement several training programs, webinars, offline online courses for youth and learners by professionals, qualified trainers, speakers, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by global renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. To ensure excellent and in-depth instruction, we arranged with qualified trainers, speakers, and instructors. We extended free service to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in the last 3 years. We have affiliations with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Virtual mouse signing with many colleges and organizations have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation of future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love, light, and vision, so we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them good research and practiced method. We must have a genuine concern for the learners. We represent more diversity, growth, and innovation and required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective, best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill levels and values. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind you don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Moving to the next with your continuous support. We already completed 1,315 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next with your continuous support. We already completed 1,315 webinars successfully. Wow. At present, we are going to start our 1,316 program name is Creative Public Speaking. and our today's speaker, Sir Hassan Bukhari. Before I hand over the stage to Sir, want to share a little bit about our speaker. He is an he is an educational he is an educational physiologist and trainers and consultant. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our IGP to invite our sir to IGP with his presentation. Hello, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Brothers and sisters, elders and youngers, and my fellow professionals, Assalamu alaikum, and I welcome you to this session.
Welcome, assalam, sir.
Before beginning, I would like to acknowledge Institute of Global Professional, along with its founder, Kaushik Datta, for his wonderful initiative. That was a really good start. That was a really good head start. And I was looking at the promo, and it was astonishing that you're working with 130 plus countries, 500 plus organizations, and 6,500 plus organizations, and a lot more, 500 plus speakers, and that's a marvelous job. I truly, deeply acknowledge, appreciate, and support your cause of providing free education without any barriers or borders or without any discriminations, segregation. So this is a real job that you're doing. I truly acknowledge and appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, on behalf of IGP Knowledge Seekers, wants to hear from you about you, sir.
All right, so you want to hear about me. My name is Hassan Bukhari, and I am a trainer, I'm a consultant, I'm an educational psychologist, and I have delivered over 600 training seminars, workshops, like webinars, as well as many sessions. So I am also the founder of Speakers Club Abbotabad, which is one of its kind, which is a unique initiative aiming to build public speaking skills among people like you and me, people like our audience, people who are watching, who are professionals, who are not professionals, regardless of what language you belong to, regardless of any other thing. So we're doing a job to build a nation through developing their public speaking skills. So this is some of my background. I believe that that's what you were looking for.
Thank you, sir. Sir, now the stage is yours. You can start your presentation, sir.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, and ladies and gentlemen, this talk, this webinar, this seminar is about creative public speaking. And before I begin lecturing on what creativity and public speaking is, let's get to the actual expectation of my audience, which is what will you get by the end of the lecture? By the end of the lecture, you will not become a pro, you'll not become a professional, because this is a beginner's level webinar. However, by the end of the lecture today, you'll be having a good idea of what creative public speaking is. So let's begin with this. And let's shatter the ice, break the ice with a beautiful anecdote. And this anecdote is from the libraries of White House, Washington. During the tenure of Obama in office, a Japanese prime minister visits White House. Now, Japanese take pride in their language. They do not speak English. They take translators along, and they enjoy this privilege, and they portray their civilization. So what happens is this time the prime minister tries a new idea. So he learns English to greet Obama in basic 3 sentences. So what he learns, his trainer teaches him to say hi, to which Obama will respond, hello. Then you have to say, how are you? Then Obama will say, I'm fine. What about you? And then you will say, me too. And that will be the end of your introduction or your greetings. So what happens instead is that upon meeting Obama at White House, the Japanese Prime Minister mixes up sentences a bit, but not markedly wrong. He goes like, "Hi." Obama says hello. Then the Prime Minister, instead of saying, "How are you?" he says, "Who are you?" And Obama had a very good sense of humor. He says, "I am Michelle's husband," which is Obama's wife. And in its return, the Prime Minister says, "Me too." Now that's a humorous anecdote for the beginning of the session. And you can use such anecdotes. There are countless anecdotes you can use to begin your presentations, your lectures, your talks, your seminars and webinars. And this is on the lighter part. Let's move forward. Let's talk about the definition of public speaking. But before we move on to the public speaking, I would like to ask you, please comment in the comment section, where do you belong to? From which area are you listening to this lecture, this webinar? Oh, that's a good comment that someone is Oriendo is listening from Philippines, and there are people others have not mentioned yet where do they belong to. Anyways, let's move forward. What is public speaking? Public speaking in general is anything that you share among a group of people. You can share a joke like I just did. You can share an idea, a story, your story. You can share a message or any other thing that you share among a bunch of people. Now, this is a layman definition of public speaking. If we be specific about professional definition or a specific definition of public speaking, it is a controlled and purposeful message or which is imparted through a pre-designed strategy, a pre-designed method, a vocal method. Now, it involves language, it involves by has survival stories on one. Then they started hunting in groups. They started sharing ideas. And this gave birth to the hunter gatherer society. People, for the first time, came up with societies. And this was the origin of public speaking. So when they would sit together, they have children. When they would sit together, they would share the stories of the heroic hunting, and they would share stories of how they survived all those years so that they could transmit the hunting skills, so that they could inspire their children to come up to the audacity they have towards hunting wild animals. So someone has joined us from Malda, West Bengal, and there are other people who are also joining us from different places all around the world. And thank you so much for joining us in this webinar. Now that we have discussed about the genesis of public speaking, let's start discussion on what is the nature of public speaking. But before I begin discussing on nature of public speaking, I have another question for you. How well would you rate your public speaking skills on a scale of 0 to 10? For 0 being very poor, I cannot speak in public at all. The 10 being, oh, I am a professional public speaker. So it is a good choice. From 0 to 10, you can choose any number. The higher number means you are very good at public speaking. So please, I request a feedback from the audience. Are you with me? Are you getting what I'm trying to impart to you with this controlled idea, controlled thought sharing, and this presentation? I hope that it is going good. But let's talk about what this whole genesis tells us about public speaking. This whole hunter gatherer idea tells us that public speaking is not an acquired skill. Yes, it was back then when people developed speaking, when people developed this idea of sharing, uh, sitting around a bonfire and sharing ideas to their children, to their wives, to their society, to people, everybody. But since everyone tried to do it all those years, hundreds and hundred thousands of years, now this has become an instinct of us. This is now a part of us, and I believe that you are familiar with the process of evolution and transmission of characteristics as Darwin speaks. So that you have those genes, you have those traits, you have those characteristics, those qualities of a public speaker. But if you are unable to speak today, it is because we have lost that instinct. Today, we need to reclaim that lost instinct. All right, thank you so much for joining us from all parts of the world. Now let's come towards some facts of public speaking. See, yesterday it used to be a fireside storytelling. Today, public speaking has become a $1 billion industry. Public speaking is required in education. If you are an entrepreneur, like the people of IGP, if you're starting up a new career, you need to convince a lot of people. To convince a lot of people to buy your product, to buy your idea, you need to sell it. And in order to sell it, you need public speaking. Now, this is how it is $1 million skill. So you need it in education. You need to impart a lecture. You need to raise children. You need to educate somebody. You need public speaking. You are an entrepreneur. You need public speaking. And then in industry of training and development, in my industry, we require public speaking as a skill all the time. Wherever we go, wherever we are, we have to deliver lectures. We have to deliver trainings, workshops, seminars, and webinars, and a lot of them. Uh, Okay, so there is someone. Isaiah is watching us from Kenya. Thank you, Isaiah, for watching us. I believe there are more people who are watching us from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. What else do we need public speaking for? We need it for human resource development. If you are a manager in an organization, you might be involved in managing or delivering a pep talk or a brief to your subordinates or your superiors. You need to deliver presentations. You need to manage people. You need to brief them about a lot of things. That's how you need public speaking in human resource industry. Not only human resource development, but in any sort of developmental organization. Every organization requires its employees to have hours of continuous professional development as part of their promotion criteria. If you go to the West, organizations only provide you increment, or they continue to work with you or give you job or continue with their employment contract if they know that you're learning, you're taking part, learning your field knowledge. Thank you so much for nice feedback. I believe you people are learning a lot from this lecture. So what I mean that these are the facts that that public speaking is now $1 billion industry, and I will show you in a couple of seconds that people who got a lot from public speaking, they the tech giants like Tesla today, Elon Musk is always on a public platform. He's always speaking. He's always being interviewed. And you know that he introduces his products just like Steve Jobs, who used to do it previously for Apple. And we all know that all those big tech giants do public appearances. And in those appearances, they need to utilize public speaking skills. So this is how this skill can take you so high. So Jack Ma has a net worth of $47.8 billion, and you see him how he started. He was an absolute failure. He was unable to acquire jobs. He was unable to be taken as employee in banking, in police, in hotel industry, as a chef or whatsoever. He was not even employed as a sweeper somewhere. So what happens in the end? He comes up with an idea to bridge the gap between US and China for importing or the technical machinery, the industrial machinery. What he does is he goes to the US investors and he tries to convince them that I will ship the material to you from China and Hong Kong, and you will not have to come to those countries across Pacific. And while we will send you, I'll give you insurance that if you get the wrong item, I will return it to you. And this is my website. and I'm operating this website. And this website, based on this platform, I'm offering all those services that you don't have to waste your time coming all the way to China and Hong Kong to get the right machinery. We will make everything for you and we'll ship to you United States. Now, let me know in the comments that how did Jack Ma, who has remained an absolute failure, how did he manage to convince other people, the investors in the United States? The answer is through public speaking skills. Absolutely. There is no other way. If you hire someone, they have conflict of interest. If you leave it to others, you cannot you cannot put it up in time. Somebody else takes the lead. And there are countless issues, countless problems with this. This is the same reason that Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, the CEO, when he was alive, he was the CEO of Apple. He is the one who introduced Apple products in such a way that people today, we can say that they die for Apple. They die for the products. They wait in line for months to get the latest product. How did Steve Jobs achieve such tremendous amount of influx from people? So much love for his products. The answer is through public speaking skills. So therefore, it is a $1 billion industry. You all know Tony Robbins. He is the king of public speaking today. His mentor, Jim Rohn, was a wonderful public speaker of 1900s. Before him, there have been so many people, but no one has achieved what Tony Robbins has achieved. His actual name is Anthony Robbins. So he's the highest paid public speaker in the world. He, along with Dean Graziosi, has shared that they usually claim that public speaking industry is a $1 billion industry. We all know Brian Tracy for his specific, controlled, and concise speaking style. He delivers lectures, seminars, workshops, trainings all around the world. He's an amazing inspiration for young public speakers. Not only him, but there are countless other people. I believe you people are familiar with Toastmasters International. There are a lot of people who have gained enormous value in the world, an enormous amount of professional value by coming up on Toastmasters International stage. There is Denaraya Henerachi and Muhammad Al Qatani, and there are people from India and from Singapore and from China, and there are people from all over the world who utilize that stage to express themselves and gain recognition. And this is one of my favorite, Eric Edmeades. He is delivering a lecture on Mind Valley platform, and Mind Valley is run by Vishen Lakhani, who belongs to India, and he's lived in Malaysia, but he's working in the United States, and he's one inspiration even for me to improve my public speaking skills. His premium program called A-Fest is delivered worldwide, and a lot of people, so many people attend that A-Fest, where there are talks on all different topics. Instead of apart from Mind Valley, I believe everyone is familiar with TED. TED is a wonderful stage where people share ideas worth spreading. And we all know that if you're a good speaker, you can make a beautiful living. Julian Treyer is delivering his talk on the ills or the sins of public speaking. And he is a voice coach from United Kingdom. There are so many people who are in this industry, and one from Pakistan, Qasim Ali Shah, and there are so many others from Pakistan. But this takes me to the second fact that public speaking adds value to your life. People who can speak well have a better quality of life compared to those who cannot, and this is well proven with the research. And we have one Nobel Prize winner, Malala Yousafzai, who was a writer, but then she had to come up to the stage and talk about a lot of things and um, talk about education. She became an education activist, and then she went to the UN. She delivered a speech over there, and later on, she got a global scale recognition. So you will have a lot of respect if you have this as a skill. Muniba Mazari, she met an accident and she lost her legs. She's again from Pakistan. She now today she has even delivered about two TED talks, and she is a well-known public speaker, a motivational speaker for women especially. So you will get a lot of recognition if you have this, if you know this, if you have the skill of public speaking. Now, the third thing, in the United States, it has been researched and in Europe as well that better salaries, you can get better salaries if you have this skill of public speaking. Why? Starting from you get hiring advantage. You can talk well in compared to a shy candidate. You have higher chances of landing a job. Then you'll have negotiation skills. You'll be able to talk better. You'll be able to ask for a raise in the proposed salary when you are being interviewed by your employer. So people who do not have power of public speaking, they cannot negotiate their worth, and this is how people who have public speaking skill, they get advantage, and therefore you get better salaries, you get early promotions, and these people are the ones who get leadership positions. These are the ones who are tasked with managing people. They get managerial positions, and later on the C position, um, they get the CEO or the CFO or whatever you call them. So this is the third fact, that you will get a better quality of living and a better salary if you know public speaking. The fourth one, and this is the final one, I'll not move forward, that with public speaking, you can contribute a lot to your society. The way hunter gatherer society did by contributing to the development and the exposure of their own children, their own society, their own fellow men and women. Similarly, you as a national of your own country, or being a global citizen, you can contribute to the causes. You can contribute to the cause of poverty. You can contribute to food, or you can contribute to the injustice. You can contribute to any sort of cause that exists out there in the world. So you can do social activism, whether it is about organ trafficking, whether you are standing against the sexual abuse cases, whether you are standing in favor of feminism or women rights, or whether you want to raise your voice for the weak of the society. It's your choice. But this skill can make you a social activist, and therefore you can join humanitarian platforms, you can advocate human rights, and you can bring reforms, you can develop awareness campaigns, especially you can um, raise awareness on interfaith harmony or a lot of things. So public speaking is actually $1 billion skill. If you have it, your life will be amazing. Your life will be transformed. It transformed my life. It will definitely transform your life one day. Okay, so do you think this webinar is favoring you in some way? If yes, please comment in the comment section. Let's move on to the question, how should we speak? How to speak? I have basically a bifurcated model of public speaking. There are two ways to do public speaking. Either you remove the apprehensions that stop you from speaking in public, or on the other side, you build the skill that is of the public speaking. There are a lot of apprehensions. It means something that is bothering you, something that is preventing you from doing it. We all get hesitant when we come up on a stage, when we are asked to deliver a talk, when we are tasked with briefing a bunch of people about something. We get stuck, we get hesitant. These are the kind of apprehensions I'm talking about. On the other hand, you see the public speakers of the world and you admire them on their speaking skills, but you don't know that they have built a skill, they have removed their apprehensions, and then they have come up to build the actual skills. This is how you improve your public speaking. So let's discuss it a bit further. So the number one is removing apprehension. And in apprehensions, the first thing is it's the fear of failure. Now the question is, where does it come from? Where does it come from? If you know where does fear of failure come from, you can comment it in the comment section. But to me, because I'm a psychologist, I will give you that particular touch. Actually, fear comes from expectation, and fear of failure comes from trying to meet the expectations of your audience. So the question is or are we perfect? Is everyone perfect? The answer is no. I am not perfect. You are not perfect. So they are not perfect as well. Everybody makes mistakes. But what do? We fear mistakes. And a lot of mistakes are counted as failure. And we fear failure, and that's why we step back. We hesitate. But how to overcome this fear of failure? Instead of trying to meet the expectations, dear audience, we can experiment. Instead of delivering the best talk of your career, you can experiment the best talk of your career. If you're a beginner, maybe you're starting to talk, but you're again fearing a failure. There is everyone in this world has failed in something. Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players in the world, who got his team 11 consecutive years of success, the NBA championship. And people in the United States, they love NBA more than the Europeans love football. and we Pakistani and people from Bangladesh, India, Afghanistan, we how much we like cricket, their sports is basketball. So Michael Jordan is a legend of basketball. He was short-heighted. He was unable to cope up with the criteria to join a professional team. So that's why he was rejected. So he went to a coach, and his coach started teaching him. When he became so successful and he retired, somebody asked him that what is the reason that you are so successful that we have not seen even a single shot that you are missing the net. To his surprise, Michael Jordan replied. He said that I have failed over and over and over again until I have succeeded. He said that you have the players today have not actually attempted the shots, number of shots, that much I have dropped in my training. In other words, he was telling that journalist, he was telling that journalist that if you sweat more in training, you will bleed less in war. He said, there is not an inch in a basketball court from where I have not thrown 500 shots. So he was so apt because he had failed over and over and over again. We know stories of famous failures. There are a lot of people, but failure with experimentation again and again leads to success. So this is how I got successful. This is how you got successful. So there's a question from Alma Irene Aquinos. Yes, I also hesitate when I'm in doubt, but experience taught me that nobody is perfect. I'll just have to practice always. I believe this is the best strategy to teach you public speaking. All right. So you have to experiment. The second one is self-doubt. Now, if you failed previously, you're likely to have self-doubt. It means you will not be having self-confidence. Self-doubt is the opposite of self-confidence. So this is the second apprehension we have, which prevents us from practicing or performing. Therefore, we do not have this public speaking skill. How do you cope up with self-doubts? You just accept yourself. Number three, lacking exposure. See, everyone who hesitates while coming up on stage has lack of exposure. Let's talk about a young child who is asked by his teacher to come up on stage and deliver a talk, or come up in front of other students and deliver a speech which the teacher helped him prepare. Will he not be having anxiety? Definitely. He'll be having fears that what will my friends say? Similarly, we as adults has a lot to lose because of public speaking if we make a mistake. So we fear failure, and then that leads to again self-doubt, which leads to lack of exposure. So how do we cope up with this? We seek exposure. And fourth, which you don't have any influence over, which is inherited traits. If your parents have mother or father has a lot of anxiety, you're likely to get it in you automatically. So, how can you cope up with this one? You practice. This is how you learn public speaking. Now let's come over to the second of that bifurcating model. One, you remove apprehensions, all those four apprehensions that we talked about. Two, you build the skills. Number one skill, number one thing that can help you in public speaking is having the resource. It means having the idea. It means having the content in your mind. If I did not have this content, if If I did not have this resource idea, how would I come up and deliver lecture? And the same goes with you. All right, there is someone, Orlando is saying we would not have self doubts if we only focus on our speech and audience instead of focusing on ourselves. And how do you lose self doubts, and how do you get your focus on your own content rather than on the audience? And it is actually through practice. If you have done it over and over again, you worry less about the audience, you worry more about your content, and then you deliver the actual content which is required by the audience. So this is how you prove your public speaking. But I'm talking about the resource. Any idea, any story, be it a joke, be it a verse, be it an anecdote, be it humor, be it anything, the content is the resource. If you have the content, only then can you deliver. If you don't have it in your mind, you cannot deliver. And the number one thing to build is the resource. Some people add poetry to the speech. Some people add actions to the speech. Some people add historical events. Some people add events. And some people share their experiences. So, all of it that you hold in your mind is a resource. Now, how do you harness the power of this skill? You prepare for it. Number two is the language. If you don't know the language of communication, maybe you cannot deliver a speech. Maybe you
Sir, what's the problem?
I believe it was a technical error, I think.
Oh, sir. Okay, sir, no problem.
All right, so we're back with our presentation. Any apologies for any inconvenience? So we were talking about the resource, then we talked about the language, and then we talked. The third thing you need to develop is message. If you have the language, if you have the idea, and you don't have a message, you cannot. See, Anthony Robbins, who is the number one highest paid public speaker, says public speaking is 80% why and only 20% how. You're not concerned about how if you know why. Why is your message. If you have a good message, you don't have a problem coming up and talking about anything. Number four is your tone of voice.
Hello, sir.
All right, once again, apologies for inconvenience. Okay, it was a sudden attack from children.
Sir, please check
Like
in
kids
private
are
chat.
very naughty these days. Anyways, let's move forward with the fourth one, which is the tone of voice. If you have a good tone of voice, you have got an added advantage. And fifth one is body language. You are worried about body language only when you have the resource, you have the language, you have the message, and then you can deliver it according to the rules of body language. So, what can you do to improve your skills? Number one, you prepare for it. Number two, you rehearse it, repeatedly practice it. The third one is itself practice, and then the fourth one is you try to improve upon it. Now let's come to our agenda, which is creative public speaking. Now that was the background, and now this is the real thing: utilizing creativity and innovation in public speaking. All right. So, how can we? What is creative public speaking? It is utilizing creativity and innovation in speech. So, what? How can we utilize creativity? Number one, we can redesign stories. You remember the stories of uh, when we were young kids. We were often told the story of a tortoise and a rabbit, and we all know that rabbit fails and the tortoise wins. But if you redesign that story and take it up to three stages, and race number one, tortoise wins, race number two, and somehow it ends that the bunny wins. And if you if you come up with the third version of the story, and again in which tortoise wins for some other reason, that's a pretty good way to redesign a story and entertain your audience. This is using creative public speaking. Number two, you can use props in you can use props while opening up your speech. Now I have named a few like Muhammad Al Katani, and I have used name of Danaraya Hanarachi. These are the people who were on Toastmasters international stage, and these are the ones who have used props. Prop is any physical object which you take along to your stage and you have a message regarding it. For instance, Muhammad Al Katani, he takes a cigarette on stage and he tries to light it in front of the audience, and then he doesn't. Obviously that is unethical, but he says, what are you looking at? He says, what are you looking at? And then he takes that prop into his pocket. So by taking that prop into his pocket, he starts discussing on how people think that smoking kills, but they don't think that depression kills. They don't think that diabetes kills. They don't think sugar kills, but they say that cigarette kills. Then he discusses the statistics on how many people actually die with lung cancer, and the number of people dying in lung cancer compared to the number who die while driving uh, without rules, the rash driving in accidents, people who die in accidents, they are quite alarming. If you look at depression, people who die out of suicide, they are a lot more than people who have died of lung cancer. So this is a very good way to use a prop. Similarly, the Najaya Henrachi uses a rose and he takes it and starts discussing about his life. And there are many people. One speaker takes it to the next level. He comes up with an idea to to take an underwear onto a stage, and then he says, then he wears that underwear and he says, what are you looking at? My eyes are up here. Now that's a beautiful way to use any prop, but that's how you have to experiment with it. That's a very next level thing. Not everyone can do it. This is not safe. It can go wrong. So you need to have a lot of experience. But redesigning stories is quite easier. The third one is impromptu speech. Impromptu speech is any speech in which you are not well prepared. You just say you are in which you are not prepared. You just share what is in your mind. Number four, table topics. This is a beautiful way we usually adopt in our speaking sessions. A topic is placed on the table, and you have to pick it up and prepare for it in 30 seconds, and then you have to speak on it in 30 seconds for one more than 1 minute. So this is how you build your public speaking instincts, especially the creativity part, because you don't get enough time to prepare for it. You are not prepared for it. So what you can do is you can take a lot of you can take a few topics, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the number of the topics is, but you can randomize them, you can pick them up, and you can share. You can stand next to a mirror and deliver a talk on that topic that you've just picked. So, out of nowhere, if you're talking about something, this is how you will boost your creativity. And fifth one is you have to practice a lot of storytelling thing. You have to tell a lot of stories. Stories create focus because you have to tell stories the way it is required. So this is how you improve creativity, and you can use innovation in public speaking. Where can you use innovation? You can use it in opening, the way we said, the using of props. The second, you can use stories. You can create your own stories. And then humor, the way we use an anecdote. There is another humorous idea. Humor is something that when people are not expecting something and you say it, this is what creates humor. So there's a famous anecdote, or you can say a one liner, that there are two kind of men in the world. One who fear their wives, and two who are liars. Well, that's funny because it ultimately suggests that all men around the world fear their wives. Well, actually, this is not true, but for the sake of humor, this is true. Similarly, there are a lot of other ways to impart humor among your audience. For example, if you say, I love Donald Trump, he is my inspiration, I like the way he talks. Obviously, this creates a lot of humor because most people don't like him. So, and the final one is actually the activity part. You can perform an activity in front of your audience, and this is how you can connect with them. And this is another way of adding creativity to your public speaking. For instance, I have I have it in my mind. So if you hold your hands just like this and put your hands in hand, you feel probably nothing. You feel normal. Now open up your hands and just put it in the different version, in the different slot, and close it. You feel odd? Absolutely, we feel something odd, something different. Then open it up, just like this, the way you done before. Then, like we did in the second time, and then repeat it for a couple of times. And then and in the slot which we done on the second time. Now we perhaps you're not feeling as odd as you were feeling before. Why? It is because now we have got familiar with it. We don't like unknown. So when it became known, we became comfortable. As long as it is unknown, we are uncomfortable. So there we end our public speaking session, and I hope you have learned a lot from this session. If not a lot, perhaps you have learned something from this session. And with this, I thank you all for joining me in this webinar, and I truly encourage, appreciate, and support the cause ICP is taking forward with themselves. Thank you for joining this session. Now you can you can ask questions in the comment section, and I will be happy to answer them.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seekers here, sir. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seekers can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seekers, sir. Once again, thank you so much, dear sir, for your presentation. Now, sir, it's time for the question answer part, which is the one more valuable part of our regular. Of course, you know. Honorable sir, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. After question answer, we have an webinar certification and quiz competition process. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. Sir, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be come back.
You're welcome. I am right here.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box. Our sir is waiting for your comment. Question also. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, ask your question in the comment box. If you have any question, please ask your question. Sir, first question in the screen. Ilblo, my question is what is something that can be destructive if you allow it? Second question, what will typically happen if you go into a presentation on the defensive? Thank you.
Okay, could you just repeat the question?
First question, what is something that can be destructive if you allow it? And second question, what will what will typically happen if you go into a presentation on the defensive?
Actually, I would like to rephrase the question for for Orlando. Thank you for asking this question. Actually, it's not always that you allow something to be destructive.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. If you're not ready on it.
That you allow can be destructive, but something you've not allowed at all can also be destructive. For example, the technical things go wrong, right? In the way it just happened in the session. What would be on your part that can destroy your presentation or your speaking session is a half cooked material, anything that you are not well prepared for, and you try to experiment it, and this will be quite destructive for your session, and you will be creating a wrong memory. Due to it, you might develop fear of public speaking for the next session. But how can you cope it up? You can cope it with experimentation again and again. You can cope it with practice again and again. You can cope it with progressing in your skill, with persistence. So the second question is, what will typically happen if you go into a presentation on the defensive? Okay, I believe nothing will happen if you are defensive. Only that your presentation will not look attractive. It will look so dry that people would be yawning, people will not be interested, and they might not show up when you are on stage again. So this is something that can typically go wrong when you are on the defensive. So you should be the way you are. should not be aggressive, should not be defensive, should not think about anything that destroys your career, that is destructive for you. What you should do is you should prepare to share. If you're trying to share an idea, you don't get stuck, you don't get defensive, you don't get destroyed. People understand you, they empathize with you, they can relate with you. And even if you go wrong, there is nothing wrong with it. So, for the safer side, you can claim is in the start of the presentation that I am a person just like you and I'm sharing this idea with you. So, please acknowledge if you like it and the like things, similar things. So, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you, sir. Please, IGP knowledge seekers, ask your question. Sir, I hope there was second Roja.
Okay, second question. What is the question? I mean, in terms if you are not ready.
I mean interim if you're not ready on your presentation.
Okay, I have a very simple idea if you are not prepared for a presentation. You can, okay, if you're not ready on your presentation, see, presentations are two-way. They're a visual as well as they are. All right, I got the question. So it could be that your presentation has two parts. One is the visual part, one is the vocal part. So if you can drop the vocal, that would be the most appropriate idea. Sorry, drop the visual. You cannot drop yourself. So with the visual ad or presentation, we get stuck. So we often get defensive, the way you asked in your first question. Instead of getting defensive and stuck with your visual, one we can take a break from our presentation, the visual part I'm talking about, or we can add stories into it.
মুন্না একটু ছোট করো।
All right. I think that was a technical difficulty. So I was telling you that you can take a break or from your visual part, or you can add on a story, a relevant material. And for this, you need a resource, a mental resource. You need to have different ideas in your mind, background stories in your mind. You need to relate your own experiences with the topic. And if you have learned those things in the past, it will be quite easy for you to go vocal only. If you go vocal, this can save your skin. So you can always begin and end your presentation with your message. If you think about your message, you will come up to the ideas that are worth sharing. And once you have imparted your message, you will be able to close your presentation. This is, I hope this answers the question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I hope there were second Roja. IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box. Sir, are you listening me?
Yes, I am listening to you, and thank you for asking me. Now, thank you, all of you, for joining us today.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, Orlando, for asking me these questions. Thank you for sharing it to.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Thank you, sir, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with a new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable sir, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, sir. Take care. Honorable sir, before we move to the next, let me Honorable sir, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, sir. Hello, sir. IGP knowledge seekers, it's time for the webinar certification process. The most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we'll start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification process. Thank you. IGP knowledge seekers, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we'll start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. Thank you. Today's our some technical problems we cannot share our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Today's our some technical problems we cannot share our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, it's time for the most engaging part of this session, which is an online quiz competition. Which is an online quiz competition. Which is in our regular activity. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. First of all, you have to go www.slido.com and find this today's quiz and scan this QR code for direct joining. And the code is global IGP. After a short video, we'll be back. Thank you. Please join in Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Please join in Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Please join in Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Join in Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Mention your friend for direct joining. Please join inside Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Already 5 people joined with us. Please everyone join in Slido with code and the code is global IGP. Mention your friend for direct joining. Please mention your friend. Today some technical problems. We cannot share our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Today's our some technical problems. We cannot share our certificate code. Thank you, Ilvo. Java. Today's our some technical problems. We cannot share our certificate code. It's time for the most engaging part, which is the quiz competition. Please join the online quiz competition properly. Please follow my instruction carefully. First of all, you have to go www.slido.com and find today's quiz. And the code is global IGP. And the code is global IGP. Already 22 people joined with us for mm, quiz competition. Please join in Slido. Please mention your friend for quiz competition and quiz certificate. We will pick your name from quiz Slido, so join with your full name, which will be directly printed on quiz certificate. So please join with your full name. Only 10% awarded. Please join in Slido with name and please join in Slido with code, and the code is global IGP. Already 23 people join with us. Please join in Slido with code, and the code is global IGP. Let's start. Our first question is, what is public speaking and anxiety? First option is fear associated with speaking in public, and second option is fear of public speaking that can cause physiological stress. Which is the right answer? Yeah. Let's check. Second option is the right answer, and 77% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our second one question is skills, writing, and speaking. First option is time management, and second option is communication. Which is the right answer? Communication is the right answer, and 96% people are right. Wow. Moving to the next question, and our third long question is the Dove singer in the image led the English public speaking pact effectivity at school. First option is Mr. Chelta Fernandez, and second option is Mr. Stacy Judhi Vishwathan. Mr. Chelta Fernandez is the right answer, and some is right. Moving to the next question, and our fourth long question is, which is not purpose of for informatic speaking. First option is to change the listener mind, and second option is to increase your literature understanding, to increase your listener understanding. Which is the right answer? First option is the right answer, and 91% people are right. Our fifth question is narratives are effective in a public speech because narratives illustrate a point and capture the audience's attention and are fun to listen to. Which is the right answer? Oh, first option is the right answer, and 100% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our sixth long question is which of the following is not a intense of informative speaking? It is traveling. Is it traveling? Or macaroni and cheese is bad for you? Macaroni and cheese is bad for you is the right answer, and 87% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our seventh long question is public relations is the responsibility of which officer? Reporter and secretary. Reporter is the right answer, and 65% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our eighth long question is does the development of the company manages about its product? First option is marketing messenger managers, and second option is market researcher. Which is the right answer? Marketing managers is the right answer, and 50% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our ninth long question is read the to build and maintain positive relationship between his or her employee and the public. First option is ticket operation director and public relations specialist. Second option is the right answer, and 95% people are right. Moving to the next question, and our 10th long question is in this session, final question in this session is creative and creatal thinking is the basis for everything you do know school. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? True is the right answer, and 91% people are right. Wow. Congratulations to our webinar online quiz competition winners top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. And after that, we will issue our online quiz competition on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professionals. Congratulations to our webinars online quiz competition winners top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on our official Facebook page and group, Institute of Global Professionals. At the end moment of our session, we can say properly fits your skill. Never stop learning cause love never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. Thank you. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end live button, again wants to thank to all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you in the next session. Thank you. Thank you for joining us and staying with us till the end. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.